Hi, my name's Terry Charles, and I'm standing for the Heritage Party in Ipswich in the general election, which is due on the 4th of July, this coming Thursday. Now, I want to talk a little bit about myself, first of all, and I'll explain why as we go on. I've often been told I don't sell myself enough. I don't point out my qualities. This time I am going to. Why? Because I am standing for election in representing the Heritage Party in July's general election. And it is only right I showcase my qualities and what I have achieved since leaving school back in 1974. I left school with no qualifications, no self-confidence, no self-esteem, and no self-belief in myself. This led me to struggling to find my place in society. And then at the age of 36, I was put into a position within the community where I had to sink or swim. 30 years on from that time, I continue to work for the next generation. Throughout that time, I've upskilled many young people into becoming the best possible version of themselves, where many of them have gone into carving out successful careers, some going on to working in the city in finance, some finding gainful local employment, some following my example of going into youth mentoring, and some going on to running their own business. And this is what I call putting something back into society. This is what I call making a positive difference. This is what I call delivering action rather than words. Again, I must stress I'm not the best at bigging myself up through self-promotion of what I have done and what I stand for. In fact, when I went for a job at Ipswich Borough Council some years ago, I didn't get it because I'm not particularly good at bigging myself up and saying what I can do. I've been hugely successful in what I have done in practice. And that is what I stand for. I'm an example of going out and doing it rather than just saying it. So again, I must stress I'm not the best at bigging myself up. But in order to show our community exactly what I have done for our communities over a career spanning 30 years, I have to showcase myself and what I intend on doing for the people of Ipswich if I were to be elected after the 4th of July general election. If I don't sell myself and what I have done for many thousands of young people and their families, then I would feel I would be letting the people of Ipswich down, because people really do need to know what I have to offer. On that note, I would also urge other candidates to do the same and let the people see the real you, where they would then be in a better position to making up their minds as to who to vote for on the 4th of July. Now, remembering that talk is cheap, actions dedicated, delivered and documented for the community through the decades cannot be denied. I intend on delivering a better Ipswich for the people through investing in the people. I intend on delivering a better Ipswich for the people through investing in our next generation. I will do this through encouraging local businesses to take on young people into the workplace via apprenticeships and mentoring roles. When I left school at age of 16, I went straight into apprenticeship, and that's where I learnt my skills in electronics, and I ended up running my own company successfully. So we need to return to a time where young people approaching the end of their school years see a positive future. I intend on delivering this to the people of Ipswich. If we don't invest in the future, then we'll have no future to hand over to our children and our grandchildren. Government investment to deliver apprenticeships in the workplace is something I intend on delivering. I don't have a figure right now, but it's doable, that I know. It worked before, it could work again. If we put the money in, we'll see and deliver a greater community for everyone. The retirement age definitely needs addressing, and I intend on doing that as well by getting our young people into the workplace sooner, which will allow those at the end of their working life at age 60, not 66 and upwards, to retire and enjoy the fruits of their labours. It's not good enough that the decision makers within the office world who haven't done physically demanding work over 4+ decades are expecting those who have done physically demanding manual work over 45 years to continue working where their bodies are now struggling or failing them. I've worked in office and I've also worked manually, so I can see both sides. But you really wouldn't want somebody of age 67 plus to be climbing up on a roof and putting a new roof on your building. You know, I'm age 66, and as you get older, you know, you're more vulnerable to falls and all of those things that come with age. So we need to reduce retirement age and allow people that have worked all their life to take time and enjoy the fruits of their labours at the end of their working lives, and not force them to carry on working. In order to understand the physical struggles of others in the workplace, we need to have experienced it. And this is where people that are making decisions in government, in order for them to understand, they need to have done some manual work as well, done it for a length of time so they can understand, and they don't. Health and safety risk assessment also needs to be recognised regarding the above when expecting the elderly to continue working beyond their capabilities. So I will be addressing the retirement age and bringing it back down to age 60 for both sexes, both men and women, to retire and allow the young people to come into the workplace. A little, like I said before, along a production lines principle of young people come in, they're upskilled by the middle-aged. The middle-aged go into retirement. The young people are now middle-aged and they work on the next generation of young people coming through. And we work like that, like it used to be. I shall also be addressing the really concerning issue of sexualisation of our young people whilst they're in the education system. We need to allow our young people to grow and develop in their own time and not force them into believing and practicing the ideas of certain adults who work within authority and the education system. Let kids be kids. Let them grow in their own time and don't force them into your ideals. It's wrong that young children, many in primary school and also early secondary school years, are taught topics which are wholly wrong. Let them make their decisions when they're an adult. Don't force adult behaviours and adult ideas onto young people. Let them grow, let them develop into what they're going to be themselves, and not to become a mini you. Crime. I will also be addressing crime. I'll also be putting forward more police on the beat, engaging with the community and being a visual presence in not only the town centre but also in the wards of Ipswich. For far too long, the police and particularly young people, there's been a them and us, and we need to address that. I have got the skills to do that. I've done that for 30 years, bringing the police and the young people together through projects that I've worked on, and it has worked. And it has worked immensely well, where young people then go on to see the police as a friend rather than an enemy. So we can do that. It's done. I've proven it, and it's worked. We need to go back to that as well, and that will help improving our communities. But like I say, more police on the beats and more police on the streets as a visual presence. So if we want to see change, then we have to start by being the change we want to see. It won't be easy, and it won't happen overnight. But by voting for the Heritage Party on the 4th of July, we will deliver all of the above. Now, over the last few days, I've received this one, vote reform. I've had this one for Tom Hunt, vote Conservative. I've had this one, Jack Abbott and Adria Pittock for the Green Party. Now, I would say to all of these people, if you did get in, would you go back 6 months later and knock on the same doors that you asked for votes for? Would you knock on the door and say, "Hi, Mr. Smith, I want to find out if you're happy with what we've done so far. How can we improve? Is there any other things that is concerning you?" Or are you going to just knock on the door when you want to vote? This is where we let ourselves down. If we want change, and if we want to stand up as a councillor or an MP and want change, and you tell the members of the public that you want change, then involve the members of the public. Talk to them, not just at election time, but throughout the year as well, and keep them in the loop as to what's going on. It's all really good knocking on the doors when you want votes. And if I'm honest with you, I done that last year in the local elections, and I haven't done it this year. I've done it for a reason. I'm not going to go out knocking on doors asking people if they'll vote for the Heritage Party. I've done some hustings events. I've done some online stuff. So I've been out there. But it's not good enough to go knocking on doors when you want something, and then to not go knocking on the doors when you've got what you want. You have to be consistent. If you knock on doors when you want the vote, if you get the vote, knock on the doors months after and support the people who voted for you. They supported you by voting for you. Now support them, because that's what you said you was going to do. So that's to my fellow candidates. If you genuinely mean you want to bring about a better Ipswich, then actions rather than words. Like I say, I'm not the best at talking. There's many people in the political world who are much better than me. But I'll tell you this for nothing. There's not many people better than me to deliver for this town of Ipswich. I will deliver, I can deliver, and I will involve the members of the public by knocking on your doors afterwards and asking, is there anything I can do better? Is there anything else that's concerning you? And I'm not going to wait until the next election to go knocking on your doors. So thanks for listening. And on the 4th of July, this coming Thursday, you have a choice to making your lives better, your children's lives better, your grandchildren's lives better, and give us an Ipswich that we all deserve. Because it's up to the people. It really is up to the people. You know, one thing else before I go, which I want to just sort of touch on, is the issue of the Copdock roundabout. When I moved to Ipswich, there used to be a system where, as you're coming out of Ipswich, you could go onto the slip road, Felix bound, without having to stop at the traffic lights. That was put in, and that was removed. So now you can't just slip on. You have to wait at the traffic lights, even if there's nothing there. You have to wait there. So when we're talking about the climate, having cars sitting at traffic lights doesn't improve the environment. So that is one thing that I'll be looking at to do to keep the traffic moving. So traffic coming on from Ipswich, coming out of Ipswich town centre, they will be able to slip onto the slip road Felixstowe bound without having to stop like it used to be. The same scenario will be coming out of London, Ipswich bound. If you're going to Bury St Edmunds, you'll be able to slip left down the slip road and head west on towards Bury St Edmunds. Again, like I say, reducing the damage to the environment by cars running when they don't have to be, improving traffic flow. We cannot say, we cannot say that there's an issue with the climate if we're adding to it by causing more cars to be sitting in traffic and unnecessarily. So that's another thing that I'll be working on. There's a whole plethora of things we need to deal with. And like I said, it's not going to be quick and it's not going to be easy, but it will get done. We will do it. We will do it. Not just me and the community. And I'll involve you in every single step of the way. So thanks for listening. And like I said before, on the 4th of July, this coming Thursday, make your vote count. This is for you, your children, and your grandchildren. It's a very important vote this 4th of July. So thanks for listening, and good luck, all the best, and happy voting. Thanks. Bye-bye.